What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be about my experience with my internship. This was over the summer 2018. I forgot what year it was. I'm sorry if I'm a little all over the place. Today was actually my first day of law school. Well, not first day of law school, but first day of my second year of law school. And it wasn't a lot, but I think just getting back into the swing of things kind of just has me a little all over the place. And before we get too deep into this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you have not already done so. I would greatly appreciate it. So let's go ahead and get into the story. My experience with obtaining an internship for the summer 2018 session wasn't as difficult as a lot of people may say that theirs were. So I've never actually had an internship. This was actually my first one, and I contemplated on actually not doing it for a while because I was kind of like, I feel like I've just been on the move constantly. I finished my graduate program, and then I kind of continued to work. So I was still doing a lot of the same things. So I was still constantly on the move. And then by the time I got into school, it was just, you know, that much more. So I initially wanted to hold off on doing an internship throughout the summer. But then I went to the courthouse one day and I ran into my AKA mentor, who also happened to graduate from the school that I attend. And she was like, you know, no, you're not just gonna sit out the whole semester, like the whole summer. You're gonna actually go ahead and get something done. You're gonna intern somewhere. We're gonna find something for you. So from that moment, I was kind of like, dang, so I need to find something. At this point, it was like close to the comps. So I wasn't really able to dedicate as much time to that. And by that time, it was like spring. It was after spring break. I want to say it was maybe like April or so. So I had already missed a good deal of like opportunities because I waited. During the fall semester, I know they say that you should be doing applications and things like that. I personally, I think I did maybe like one. I really wasn't that pressed because my biggest concern was making sure that I am learning the material. So I was more focused on coming back, if that makes sense. Something into my eye, I'm sorry. But I was more so focused on coming back and making sure that I solidified my spot. So I didn't dedicate a lot of time to actually finding an internship throughout the fall semester. In the spring semester, I pretty much did the same thing. I was more focused on actually, you know, really getting this material in. So I could have did better, but I kind of dropped the ball that way. So by the time we had actually gotten out of school before I actually ended up applying. No, so I applied in May. On May 20, no, I applied like May 22nd. And then I remember the next day, so on the 23rd, I got a phone call. So I ended up getting 2 calls for positions. One was for an internship for the summer, and one was for like a fall type of thing with this company called Westlaw. Westlaw is like LexisNexis. They have cases available, and also if your school uses Twin, it's kind of like a Blackboard type of thing. So it was just to be a rep for the fall semester, fall and spring, I think. And then the other thing was for an actual interview for a fall position, I mean a summer position at a company in Houston. After the phone interview, I mean, it kind of went decent. I really wasn't expecting too much because they were only selecting one person, and I kind of felt like they would be geared more towards selecting a 3L because they're more experienced, you know, and yeah, I don't know, they have more time available. So I felt like they were going to be more geared towards picking a 3L, and that's ultimately what ended up happening. So the next one was an actual face-to-face interview. So I had to go into the company, and if you're familiar with Houston at all, they're located like kind of in the Georgia Brown Convention Center. It's like a parking lot tower, and they're literally in that partnership tower. They're like above, it's called Culture. Is owned by the same people that own Breakfast Club. So if you're familiar with Houston's Breakfast Club, their owners have another restaurant, you know, in downtown Houston called Culture. So it's above that. So I went in there and I'm like really kind of like, oh my God, this looks really like prestige. Like it's a lot. I remember one thing that stood out to me was they had like wood like lettering, and it was like, it made like a U, and it spelled Houston, and I thought that was so cute. That really stood out to me. And so I was very nervous when I walked in because everything just seemed so like perfect. It wasn't, I didn't have much expectations, because when I actually did my research on the company, I wasn't really able to find anything except for like they were involved in some type of lawsuit. So that kind of just made me like a little apprehensive about actually wanting to, you know, work there. However, I still went ahead and, you know, applied for the position, because when I first applied, there was not a pay stipend on there. Like, it didn't say anything about pay. It was just like, you know, government law position, something like that, like corporate law, apply, whatever. So I applied. I didn't have to, you know, submit too much. I think that was really what made me want to apply, because I was like, I don't have to submit too much. Cool. So I did that. And then I just so happened to check again, like the next day, for some more application, you know, pickups. And so then I saw that it said, like, they had updated it, and it said they had a $20 per hour stipend. I was like, now you're talking my language. Now you're talking my language, okay? So, because the thing about it is, a lot of internships for law students are not paid, which is beyond crazy to me, because if anybody knows our struggle, it's other lawyers. Like, you've been here before, you've been in my 1L summer position, like, you know that we broke right now. Why are you not giving us something? So I mean, that little stipend thing kind of really made me pick it up a notch. My interview was actually scheduled for the next day after Memorial Day, so it was that Tuesday. And if you ask any of my friends, you know, we had got together that Memorial Day, and I was like, you know, I'm really not sure if I actually want to do this, because I'm looking it up and this just doesn't seem like something that I'm actually interested in. And then I'm just like, okay, well, I just need to do something. So I get to the interview, and it is so crazy, because I'm gonna drop a little hidden, you know, a lot of people don't know this about me, but my name is actually Shea. So there was a woman who also worked there, and her name is Shea. And I was like, yo, this was meant to be. Like, we are, you know, like, your name is this, my name is this, and we're like, it's too similar. Like, it was meant to be. So when I went in there, it felt very welcoming. I felt as if I was already part of the family, and they just spoke so, I don't know, it was almost as if I was already one of them. So they made me feel very welcome just in the interview alone. And I was like, you definitely changed every thought that I had coming into this. I was very uneasy, was very unsure, but like, now I feel as if, you know, this is something that I'm really interested in doing. Granted, I don't know if I want to actually do corporate law and transactional law in that capacity, but I feel for what I needed as a first step, they just seem to be so perfect in that. And for it to be my actual like first face-to-face interview, and for it to go so well, I just felt as if, you know, it was just meant to be, right? So once the interview is over, you know, they asked me some questions. I asked them some questions. That's one thing I will recommend when you go into interviews. Make sure you do your research, write down some questions. It can be generic questions that you have, but just have something, just so that you can, you know, keep the dialogue going, and it shows that you actually have prepared for it. So so after the interview was over, they were like, you know, we'll get back to you within a week or whatever and let you know our decision, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, cool. I literally just heard the same thing from this other girl, you know, when I talked to her on the phone. I'm not really expecting anything. So the next day, I want to say, okay, so my interview was at 10 on that Tuesday. By 10 on Wednesday, I had an offer in my inbox. I was like, you want me? Like, me. Like, really? So I feel like they really only went through that day of interviews. I don't know if they had a lot of people that applied. I don't know if they didn't have a lot of people that applied. Whatever the case was, it was meant to be. I felt that it was destiny. So, you know, I immediately accepted. I'm like, yeah, do I want to work? Do I want to be here? Yes. So I didn't apply to any other internships. That was the one. I was like, first off, I have a name twin practically here. Second off, you know, you're offering to pay. Most interns don't get offered to get paid. Third off, I was like, Boule is here. Literally, Boule is here in the George R. Brown Convention Center. So it was just perfect. It was just so many things that lined up for me, and I was like, this is nobody but God. Like, nobody set this up for me but God, because he knew that this was the environment that I needed to be welcomed into to start things off, right? So I was like, okay, this is perfect. And then from there, I want to say I ended up starting my internship like 2 weeks after that. So prior to that, I was really like, I wasn't necessarily depressed, but I was just like in a funk. I felt like I really wasn't sure because of the grades thing. There was just so much unsurety in my head, and it's like I spent like a week after school ended, and I just pretty much like, I literally was in bed for like a whole week practically. Like I didn't do anything except for like come down to eat, and I would text friends occasionally. But I was like, I really had to get my mind together because I really was still kind of processing, like we've been through so much, and now that I'm done, it's like I can do nothing else to save myself except for what I've done so far. So that was the craziest thing to me ever. But, you know, when I got the offer, I just felt so relieved. I felt as if, you know, I had actually worked for something and gained something, right? And so by the time I got the offer, maybe or like a week or so later, we had actually got our grades back. And, you know, I saw that I had, you know, made it to the next year, and I was just like, this was just perfect. It was like everything is coming together. I'm feeling as if, you know, a weight has been lifted off of my shoulders. I'm getting to continue my dream, and it was just amazing. And I feel like this internship kind of set the pace. Like getting that acceptance really made it all the better for me. So about the company, I ended up working for this company called Houston First Corporation. If you Google them, you probably won't find much about their legal department, but I worked as in-house counsel. So pretty much over the summer, what I dealt with was like doing research about the general data regulations policy. I dealt with a lot of IT stuff. There was like a request for elevator services. So it was very contract heavy, and a lot of our stuff was pretty much in-house. I sat in on a lot of board meetings, and it was just a lot, but not a lot at the same time, because I oftentimes felt myself, you know, not really having too much to do. But I think it was a great opportunity for me to learn, you know, what exactly being an in-house counsel entails, because I did not know what that meant. And basically that means that anything that they have that's going on, you get the call for it because you're in-house counsel and you're expected to, you know, have your hands in this and that and this and that. Anything that has to get posted anywhere, you have to read it first. So it's like, it's very time consuming. You're expected to be this big genius. And I mean, there was just so much going on. And I think that my internship was very good for me to get, you know, kind of introduced to that field of law, because it was something that I had never even considered. And now that I've done it, it's like, I might be actually interested in it. I'm not sure, you know, how deep I'm interested in it, but, you know, just on the outside, from the outside looking in, like, it wasn't as bad as I would have expected it to be. The perks about my internship, I had free parking. I got a discount for Starbucks. Y'all, I had 50% off at Starbucks for the time period that I was there. But the thing about it is my job also had like a coffee budget. So there was free coffee in the lobby. Every now and again, somebody will bring like donuts in the morning. So there was like free breakfast, free pastries, things like that. My immediate staff was so welcoming. I worked with my name twin very, you know, closely. And I think that was one of the best things too, because she assisted with making me feel comfortable in my position. And I think that she really took time to understand me as a person, and our conversations were like effortless. When I spoke with her, it seemed like I was just speaking with like a friend. You know, it didn't seem like, oh, I'm this big lawyer and I can't talk to you. Like, no. And even like the actual big lawyer in our, you know, in the department, she was just so just relatable. And it was like, it's not even relatable in a sense of we have all this in common, but it was just, she was very easy to talk to. If I had any questions, she was always just very ready and willing to assist me. And I think that that was definitely something that helped me develop as not only a student but a learning lawyer, you know, an esquire to be. If you have a mindset like I did not want to do an internship. I was like, I cannot see myself waking up in the morning going here just to do what, get credit. So getting paid was also a big push for me. It made it all the better. However, I can honestly say that even if I wasn't getting paid, I think the knowledge that I got from them outweighs it all. And I know that sounds kind of crazy, but a lot of people said that they didn't enjoy their internships. You know, a lot of people say they did something and they were bored. You know, I can honestly say that sometimes I was bored, but I was never really just like, I just genuinely don't like this. Now, it's a little slow, and I don't know if I could see myself doing it for the long run and actually being genuinely satisfied. However, I will say that my decision is mostly based on the fact that I'm an intern, and you know, as you level up, if I'm not an intern, I can only assume that it's going to be a lot heavier workload, so I wouldn't be as, you know, bored, or it wouldn't be as slow of a day. So I could see myself possibly, maybe, just maybe, you know, actually getting into it in the future. But I mean, it'll really be up to me to, you know, kind of go through this semester and see how that goes, and then into my next internship and things like that, because I do plan on seeing if I can solidify a position for the fall, to see if there's, you know, anything I can be doing in the meantime. And then also, again, for the summer, just getting things started. I'm interested in doing criminal law, so I might see if I can find something that's, you know, in that field. However, whatever comes. So I hope you guys enjoyed this story. It was really just like a story of how I went about obtaining my internship. It's not too you know, detailed. I didn't even work with anybody. Like, it was really just me as the only intern as far as, you know, in the legal department goes. So I was by myself for a lot of the time, so I don't have any like, oh my god, you know, this other intern did this and they did that, and like, I don't have those stories. I was pretty much by myself. I worked 8 to 5 Monday through Thursday. Yeah, that's all I got. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. If you have not already done so, go ahead and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a big thumbs up and leave some comments down below, and I'll get back to you ASAP. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.